Katursky.
Good morning, McGraw. Donald Trump claimed the nomination of the Republican Party in a roll call vote that went on a little longer than expected, but nonetheless had the expected result, with Donald Trump winning more than the amount of delegates he needed to be the party's nominee. Still, those 721 delegates cast a ballot for somebody else. A reminder, this party is still fractured after the long primary campaign. Tonight, two of Trump's vanquished rivals, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, will speak, perhaps in an attempt to unify the party.
It seemed like, and you get a better sense because you're there, it seems like when they made the announcement, there wasn't the overwhelming raucous cheers that you hear in past years.
No, there really haven't been too many of those moments, save maybe last night for Chris Christie's mock trial of Hillary Clinton that served as the red meat this crowd really wanted to consume. The convention has sometimes meandered to these common everyday Americans who one night speak passionately about Benghazi and fear and safety that really resonated with the crowd, to last night where they kind of talked about economic issues. A soap opera actress turned avocado farmer was talking about Trump's stewardship of the economy, and none of that seemed to really resonate. The thunder of Chris Christie before the primetime hour that the networks covered, the television networks covered, was followed by Ben Carson, who kind of lulled the convention to a close.
It seems like last night was put America to work again or make America work again, but they were somewhat short on specifics over how they were going to do that.
There's been no specifics here at all about how Trump would be the better steward of the American economy or its national security or its military. This is all a broad indictment of Hillary Clinton. And the goal of this convention seems to be assailing her record and her character at every turn. And that's really what brings the crowd to its feet. There is no more single unifying sentiment expressed here than Hillary Clinton. So as much as this is Trump's convention, most of the messages are all about her.
Fallout from Melania's speech, it seemed like that's all anybody was talking about yesterday.
And there's no real resolution. The Trump campaign says nobody's getting fired over this, even though Trump himself was said to be pretty upset that his wife was put in that position. Look, I think many of the delegates here are going to give her a pass and not blame this on her. Some are content to accept the initial explanation from the Trump campaign that this was all Hillary Clinton's fault. But it did serve as a distraction and momentarily took the convention off course on a day when they really wanted to capitalize on the tarring of Hillary Clinton as a liar and murderer.
Yeah, no, that's the point. I think it's everyone's complaining about why is this such a big story. It's a big story because they've given 6 or 7 different examples or explanations, and it's booted them off of their message.
It's booted them off message, and the message has been inconsistent. I mean, sure, people have gotten up and spoken for Trump, but you then listen to somebody like a Paul Ryan or Mitch McConnell plead for unity, if only to keep their jobs. You heard them implore the Republicans not to stay home because of things like the Supreme Court and the Republican majority. That may be a motivating factor for some, but I'm not sure it's really broadening the appeal of Donald Trump.
Which Trump speaks tonight?
Eric. The son, his wife playfully told us he'll have the best speech of the siblings, but I think it's going to be a tall order to top Don Jr., who really wore the junior well, some of the similar mannerisms and gestures of his father, and really spoke personally about his dad, his drive, his passion, about the glint in his eye when someone tells him he can't do something. And then he spoke about, pet Republican causes, school choice and things like that, that made people wonder whether this may be the start of a Trump political dynasty.
I will tell you that there's no finer moment than when he shouted out, "Dad, we love you," from the floor as he put his own dad over the top.
Wasn't that a great moment? No one here can think of a convention where the candidates' children have been put in such a prominent role to make the case for their father. Some of that may have to do with the age of the candidate and the kids, but some of that may have to do with nobody else knows Trump in the political sphere. And so it's left to his family to make that personal case, and they add a touch of humanity to a convention that had moments earlier been shouting, "Lock her up," when Chris Christie was prosecuting Hillary Clinton.
I agree totally. Aaron Katursky, we'll talk to you tomorrow at 6:50. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, McGraw.
6:57.